announcements. Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Felton here. Vassalotti here. Moranti.
Here.
Mizan.
Here.
Morris. Here. Fernhagen.
Here.
Here. Roni. Sarwar.
Here.
Volo.
Here.
President DiPietro.
Here.
Quorum.
Having an introduction and a second to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the July 15th meeting to be placed on the file. Introduction. Jennifer, and something from the room. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carried. We've got quite a few communications. We've seen most of them for the JLE project, which was sent earlier, so we could review various, thank you, Chair. Denying the motion and a second to receive the communication and place it on file. Hello. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Are you all right? Okay, committee report. Do I have an introduction in a second? And in a second, could you place the committee reports on file? On and vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So, we begin with resolutions. The ones from last week. Appointing commissioners of deeds, a roll call vote, please. Hold on one second. Remember, even though we've discussed all this, if there's something else you want to bring up, you can, interrupt. Appointing commissioners of deeds, roll call vote.
Councilmember Felton. Aye. Vassalotti. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Aye. Morris. Aye. Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts. Aye. Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes a budget amendment for the, city laptop, a laptop that will be used for HPC, but will remain here in the city. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Felton. Vassalotti. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Aye. Morris. Aye. Fernhagen.
Aye.
Aye. Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution approves the, payment to the Hudson Mile. Medical Board. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Felton.
Aye.
Vassalotti. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Aye. Morris. Aye. Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution approves the annual parking appeals officer stipend. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Felton. Aye. Vassalotti. Aye. Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris. Aye. Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roni.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President DiPietro.
Sorry. Yes.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes the encroachment on 9 Partition Street, in the hands. Now, roll call vote.
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts. Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro. Carried.
The next resolution, the budget amendment for municipal insurance expense. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belt. Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizing the water fund budget amendment for health insurance. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes the general fund budget amendment to cover additional attorney fees. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
And the last of the older resolutions is accepting donations to the senior department. Can I have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye. The newer resolutions. The first resolution, which you heard all about in email from Peter Frank, this is a review. This authorizes the acceptance of an EBD grant for the hotel improvement project. Driver's introduction and a second. Jennifer and Mark. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock. President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution also is about the improvement project, and this one accepts donations. As you recall, friends of us who made up the discrepancy from the original version to this one. Any questions?
Oh, no, it's no question.
The introduction is set. Vicky and Jennifer. And we'll go real quick.
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts. Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
And the last of the three authorizes in-kind donations and professional services to the Oakdale project. And we repeat kind of on. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belt.
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Fernhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Farwell.
Aye.
Bullock.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay. Then we're going back to the CT and PG. And the first one is to authorize the mayor to apply for the CPVG program. An introduction and second, please. Over. And then, any questions?
I have a comment to make. No, I just, okay, no, I think we definitely need the sidewalks and it's a great thing you're doing. I just, my opinion is I think we should not be doing a matching grant when, of $1 million when we don't really have that money. And I think for future references, I think we should be, the city can lose credibility when we're dealing with the state and we say, oh, we're going to match it for $1 million. We take the spot from somebody that had, let's say, 100,000, and then we don't, we go down to whatever. I think it would have been more feasible if we said $500,000. But anyhow, right now, it's regardless, I feel we need the sidewalk, so we have to.
Okay, anybody else? Roll call vote.
Councilmember Felton,
Aye.
Dasty,
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan, Morris, Fernhagen.
Aye.
Aye. Tony.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Polo,
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorized to discontinue and sell a portion of Long Alley Galvin Initiatives Foundation. Can I have your introduction and second, please?
Aye.
Okay. Let's take the introduction and second. The question for this. Go on. And Shosha. Go ahead.
What do they want the property for? What will it be used for? Do you have an
I
idea?
think it's gonna be some kind of, entertainment space or something.
Okay,
I mean, I know it's come before the planning board.
and is this one of the buildings that are surrounding this space? Are those going to BART as well?
We've talked about, no one knows. Not clear what they're gonna keep, what the gallery is gonna keep, and what they're gonna use. It's not, it's all up in the air.
I think Mike Tucker said that that building's probably gonna stay with Ken.
Okay.
Yes.
I wouldn't,
And
okay.
that,
And extra, not.
that and community tennis and the hotel on Fourth in there. That's the idea.
Okay. Thank you. Roll call.
Councilmember Felton,
Aye.
Dasty,
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris. Fernhagen,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Polo,
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution authorizes DPW transfers. Can I have introduction and second, please? Harry? And go on. Questions? Okay, roll call vote.
Councilmember Felton,
Aye.
Dasty,
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris. Fernhagen,
Aye.
Robert.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Polo.
Aye.
President Pietro.
Aye.
Carried.
The next resolution is, declaring lead agency and issuing a negative declaration in regard to the JRE project. Well, I have an introduction and second. And then. Roll call vote.
Is the, hang on,
Sorry.
This is the one that actually has the negative secret. So, this is not the, if, as you go through it, this is from the secret.
I think it's 18 has a negative.
I have opened the resolution issuing negative secret.
Oh, you're two ahead of us. No,
Oh.
Byron. Oh.
I don't have,
Okay.
because it's it's attached to the lead.
You're right.
So, I think that it's important
Yeah.
for us to walk us through this. I mean, I don't have any issues with it, but I
Right.
think for the record, we need to walk.
Yeah. Crystal?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Logan, if you wouldn't mind just scrolling down to, I think, probably page 5 of the PDF, which is the actual part 2 environmental assessment form. Yep, there we go. So when you're reviewing an action, a type 1 action under SECRA, what you need to do before issuing a negative declaration is go through the environmental assessment form part 2 to go through the questions to see if there's any what the impacts are and how significant they are. So we don't need to go through, we don't need to spend a ton of time on it, but going through each question and seeing if the council has any questions would be important. So under the first one, what I had done is I had prepared this, and these are my proposed responses for the council to adopt in its negative declaration. The first one is impact to land. Unless the project is absolutely not going to have any physical disturbance of land, there's going to be some impact, which is why this is marked yes. However, we are talking about the rehabilitation of an existing building. So my understanding, and the applicant should be, I believe, has someone present tonight to clarify any questions that the council may have, is that the impact is going to be any sort of land disturbance will be minimal. There will be some landscaping that will be applied. I believe that they'll be resurfacing the parking lot area and the driveway area. But otherwise, most of the project is going to pertain entirely to rehabbing the existing JLE building.
No.
So that's why I have.
Priscilla,
Yep, go ahead.
Chris, I just had a quick question. Jenny had asked about a couple of elements that have not been, there were a couple of things that have not been checked off. The document that we're reviewing right now, has that been updated with those, or are you just going to flag those as you go through?
I'm going to flag those as we go through them.
Got it. Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that's why each of these is marked as having no or small impact, even though there is a general impact that is recognized in this question. Does the council have any questions or concerns on this part? Okay. So moving on to number 2, same situation. We're talking about, because we are talking about a site that is already developed and built out, a lot of these questions are actually fairly easy to be able to handle. So that would be impact to geological features. There's not going to be any sort of significant disturbance on this site, so that's why it's no is marked. Impacts to surface water is a similar situation. Again, we are not talking about any sort of construction that's going to affect wetlands, streams, any sort of runoff. And again, that's why that's marked as no. Are there any questions or concerns or comments for those two areas?
No,
Okay.
I see.
Going on to impact to groundwater. So this one I did have as yes, because there is going to be a situation where we know that there's going to be remediation to the building. We know that it's going to require some form of draw of water on the water supply. I did vet the water calculations, the sewer and the water calculations through Rob Perry. He was not concerned about capacity. He put that in an email to me. I can forward that to the council. And any sort of additional draw for water, they're going to have to get a permit from DEC anyway. So that's why everything is listed here as no. Also, in addition to this, I know that it was in the environmental assessment, it is reflected in our resolution, is that there was a prior contamination noted on this site from the 1980s. DEC noted that it was only open for about 13 days where there was a leak from an oil tank that could have impacted groundwater. It was closed and the cleanup, it was closed by DEC within 13 days. The additional oil tanks have been observed, at least according to their environmental engineer and the phase 1 report. And there is no additional leakage or concerns for the other tanks. So that's why, again, that is noted in our resolution, and that's also why this was marked as yes. Any questions or concerns or comments from the council on 4? Okay. 5, the project is not in a floodway, so that was not applicable here. Number 6, impacts on air. Again, we're talking about a built-out, a built-out property. There's nothing here that's going to trigger any sort of additional impacts or on air. Same thing with impacts on plants and animals. We're not talking about clearing any of the site. We're talking about adding in additional landscaping. This should not be, which is why this is marked as no. Impacts on agricultural resources. This is not an ag district. It was not prior farm property. There will not be impacts to ag districts, to agricultural resources on the site. Same with impact on aesthetic resources. Again, we're dealing with a built-out site, which is why a lot of these are no already. There is not going to be any sort of additional impact on aesthetic resources. For the impact on historical and archaeological resources, the reason this is yes is because it is noted when we went through the DEC mapper on it, it is noted as being at least contingent to a state register of historic places. I believe in is Walter here from the developer from Penrose? Or from
Yes.
Magilla? Walter, I believe that we had talked about the fact that they had that Penrose had put in a letter for to SHPO. Is that right?
Correct. They're applying for historic credits. They're going to work with them on the redevelopment or renovation.
Okay. And there's no other impact to archaeological or historical resources that have been identified in any of the documents. So this would be, this would have no, this is why no or small impact is noted on these. Impact on open space and recreation. Again, we're dealing with an already built out site. It is not going to have any additional impact to open space or recreation. Impact, and that was one, Margaret, you had mentioned, yep, you had mentioned that was one that was not marked. This should have been marked as no.
Yeah, that was actually from Jenny.
Oh, Jenny, I'm sorry. Same with impact on critical environmental areas. Those are areas that are actually designated by municipalities and governments as having unique natural features to them. This site is not one of those. That should be marked as no. Impact on transportation was marked as yes. We are talking about a residential development here. There will be an impact to transportation systems. There has been a traffic analysis prepared by the applicant. There will be an impact of where additional parking will be required. However, it does not appear that parking beyond what is already built out on the site will be necessary. It appears that all impact to traffic is going to be minimal, 3 to 6% at the most. It seemed to be a conservative estimate. Again, this is something that I would expect that the planning board will also review as it's going through the planning board application on this. And if there is additional or different information that is provided, conditions can be placed on the planning, on the approval for the project that can at the planning board level as well. Impact to energy should actually be listed as, there will be impact to energy because it's going to be a residential development. I had B listed as moderate to large. That was an error on my side. That should have been no or small impact. Under this, there's not going to be, as far as I'm aware of, any sort of extension or additional creation of energy transmission or supply systems that are going to be required for the project, unless, Walter, if you know anything different.
No, I agree with you.
Okay. Impact on noise, odor, and light. Yes, with construction projects, there's always going to be some sort of usually temporary impact on noise, odor, and light. That should only be during the phase of rehabilitation for this project. That is going to be a 16-month phase. So that part on number F, subsection F, will have to be changed from 8 months to 16 months. The original part 1 FEAF on this had 8 months. But still, it should all be temporary and it should be concluded at the end of the construction phase.
Chris, on this one, under item B, blasting, shouldn't that be a blank? There's not going to be blasting during the construction phase.
Are you talking about 15B?
Yes,
Yes.
B as in boy.
Okay. The proposed action may result in blasting within 1,500 feet of any residence, hospital, school, licensed daycare facility, or nursing home. I have that listed as no.
You have it as, oh, sorry, no or small, I'm sorry, I just wanted to be left blank.
No, yeah, there's, NA is not
That's fine.
necessarily an option.
Okay, gotcha.
16, impact on human health. The only reason this was marked yes, and actually F should be changed to, I would say small impact. I wouldn't say no impact, but I would say small impact. And that's only because there are hazardous materials that have been identified in the building itself that will require remediation. However, as long as it is expected that those materials are something that can be handled easily by permitted facilities, which they should be, waste disposal facilities, and as long as the applicant has proposed to put in place following the remediation measures set forth by the state DEC or by the DEC and federal regulations, then this should not have a moderate or large impact. That is what is being proposed. So it should be handled as a typical remediation project where everything is typically tested and sent to appropriate hazardous waste facilities if it's deemed hazardous.
Crystal 16B is not marked.
D as in.
Oh, I'm sorry. That should be no. That should be marked as no. And that's where I had mentioned, and that was where Jenny had a question about that section about the institutional control. In certain sites, especially sites like think of brownfields and that sort of thing, where there are restrictions on what can be done to the property because of prior contamination. Sometimes there's deed restrictions, sometimes there's consent orders, things of that nature. None of that applies in this situation.
So in looking at this section, Kristen, do you have it under other impacts that they have been identified? May result in hazardous waste during construction. So you and I have talked about this. Ordinarily on a secret, you're looking at will this project create hazardous situations. This is kind of the inverse in that we have a site that has existing hazards and this activity will actually mitigate it and remove those hazards. So is that pretty much what is being covered under M, that it may result in hazardous waste during construction? Where do we document, because it's kind of the inverse situation, where do we document that it's negative secret for what this project is going to do, but actually it's taking away hazards that are currently existing?
Well, what's going to happen though is that you're still talking about a disturbance of hazardous materials. So that's why I'm addressing that under M, as well as that's why I was also discussing it under M, and also G or H, because there is a potential for F, there is a potential for hazardous waste to be created as a result of the construction activities or the rehabilitation activities. However, as long as that is handled in accordance with DEC requirements and doesn't come off the, doesn't spill off the site and is appropriately remediated, then it should not be an issue.
Should H be, significant or, large, moderate to large? H is
No,
large.
because no, and the reason for that is that what's considered, and I'm just pulling up my little cheat sheets on some of this. For waste that's generated from projects like this, as long as the waste that's generated is expected to be in a limited amount that can be easily handled by disposal facilities, and that remediation controls are in place during the construction, then that would fall under small impact. Where you get the moderate to large impact is if it's going to exceed what disposal facilities really can handle. And you've then got to go into a situation where you either have to have additional permitting that's required or sending it to, creating an additional disposal facility to be able to handle this type of waste.
Thank you.
17 is consistency with community plans. This is marked as, yes, it is consistent. I know it's the opposite, but yes, it is consistent with community plans. What I went off here is the draft, the recommendations from the comprehensive, the comp plan committee, and what is currently before the council right now, for approval of the comp plan, which was looking at this as a mixed use commercial and residential, property. I understand that it is not in line with zoning right now, but remember this secret covers not just this project, but also the zoning, the rezoning of the parcel itself, which is why this would be consistent with it. Same with community character. You've got zoning of R4 that is adjacent to this parcel, which is what we're looking at, changing what the council is looking at amending the zoning to. So this would be consistent with the community character. So if the council, does the council have any questions or concerns or comments on any of the information that we just covered on this?
I have one comment. There are some parcels that are abutting the property that are not R4. There are R2, R1. So does that matter when we're discussing there R4? I have no problem giving that parcel different zoning for R4, but I'm concerned at the wording of that, because that's not totally true.
In the, and I know in the amended, I believe in the amended zoning law, that you're going to be looking at later today, it's going to be placed on your desks. It does recognize that it's surrounded by both R4, R2, and R1. And that limiting this particular parcel to just a single family or two family residential could create additional difficulties for future development based on essentially what the parcel was used for before and the size of the parcel itself. And that I do have addressed in the local law. I can add language to the resolution, Jenny, if you would prefer to talk about that, the community character aspect with the other zoning.
That'd be great.
Okay, so I can make that change to paragraph 10 of the resolution. And just reference the other zoning districts that surround this property.
Thank you so much.
Were there any other questions, concerns, or comments from the council? Are there any questions? Okay, are there any questions
No,
about the secret process?
No question. Thank you.
I did the paragraph 10 of which resolution, just to be clear?
Sorry, what are we talking about? Resolution number 6.
It's the
That'd be
resolution that
crystal.
we're,
Is it the resolution we're now addressing,
Yes.
paragraph 10?
and reads consistency with community plans or community character.
Oh, you're talking about part 2.
No, I'm talking about the resolution.
You're talking about sequel, the actual sequel part.
Correct. Okay, so we're ready to vote?
Councilmember Belton,
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris,
Aye.
Fairhaven.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Bola,
Aye.
President Pietro,
Aye.
Carried.
And the next resolution is a letter of support from the council for this project, and introduction in a second. Jennifer and Duane.
Can we put it up?
Do you have it, Owen? This one?
I don't think.
Which resolution am I calling up?
It's the letter of support.
To execute, but. That's it.
A roll call vote?
Councilmember Belton,
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris,
Aye.
Fairhaven,
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Bola.
Aye.
President Pietro,
Aye.
Carried.
And we have another next deck to go through. Related to the ADU vote. So we'll go on the block tonight. There's something you wanna, oh, Margaret,
No, no, sorry. Don't count it, please.
do we need to go through this? Or?
You have to introduce
Oh, I'm sorry. Introduction in a second.
it.
Margaret and Jennifer. Any questions? Roll call vote?
Councilmember Belton,
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris,
Aye.
Fairhaven.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Bola,
Aye.
President Pietro,
Aye.
Carried.
And now we get to the, on the law. Introduction to law A, 5. For the accessory dwelling units. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belton,
Aye.
Castelli.
Aye.
Moranti,
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Fairhaven.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Brony.
Aye.
Sarwar,
Aye.
Bola.
Aye.
President Pietro, Carried.
Okay, next law. In chapter 306, relating to hiring of lights and vision vehicles. We have an introduction and second. Richard and Jennifer. Now, I have a motion and a second to lay the proposed law on our desks. Duane and okay, moving right along. This is the proposed local law amending the zoning district boundaries. May I have an introduction in a second? Okay. And now may I have an introduction in a second to put it on our desk?
So this one relates to JLE.
Yes.
So, we cannot vote on this until when?
Crystal, we have to get back from,
It's gonna need 30 days, so you're not gonna be voting on this until September.
right, because we have to get,
Don't have any impact on you?
so, should I get? I need a second. Oh, thank you. Motion and a second to put it on our desks. Duane and Jennifer. Now, there's a resolution related to this, which just heard about because we have to send it to the city and county, I mean, to the planning boards. Then may I have an introduction in a second? Ron and Bud. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Sassaludi.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan.
Aye.
Morris.
Aye.
Burnhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President Tejeda.
Aye.
Carried.
Next for business is the bills. Can I have an introduction in a second? On and Gary. Question.
I have a question.
Sure.
Who are Marshall and Sterling?
Insurance.
Okay. Thanks. That was there.
Any questions? Roll call vote.
Councilmember Belton.
Aye.
Sassaludi.
Aye.
Moranti.
Aye.
Mizan. Morris.
Aye.
Burnhagen.
Aye.
Roberts.
Aye.
Browning.
Aye.
Sarwar.
Aye.
Volo.
Aye.
President Tejeda.
Aye.
Carried.
And before we go into executive session, I'd like to have a very informative discussion. Potential law proposal for a citizens assembly that Peter Spear had come up with. And informally, I want to ask you, should we invite him to make a presentation of his proposal? We don't have to discuss that. We can just decide whether we'd like to hear from him or not. Sure.
Yeah, I think at this point, this is in relation to the, process that we would take in approaching, reform of our charter. And, I think for that process to work, and to succeed, it will take collaboration from the mayor's office and the common council to establish structure, selection, etc. And then any presentation from Peter should be to the common council that will be in place in January. I bring this up because 3 of the 5 boards will have at least 1 new council member. First board has 3 people running. And I think those council members should be part of the discussion. We do not know who the new mayor is going to be, whether it be the current mayor or a new person. And I think that constructive collaboration between the mayor's office and the full council is going to be key to success. And so I think for that reason, before we proceed on, other members, other potential members of the council, are not on this council right now. We're going to have a presentation that should be part of what gets weighed in how we approach charter reform. And the other concern I have is that from between now and November, for the next few months, our focus should be on the budget. In about 1 month, the departments are going to begin submitting their budgets to the DEA. The treasurer will be preparing projections. DEA process is iterative with reconciliation of reflected budgets. Most of the council members cannot attend those meetings, but because they're held during the workday. However, we can all receive recordings or listen to the recordings and get the documents that are discussed in those meetings and take the time to review them and to review each step in the process. So when it comes time to vote on the budget, we're fully informed. So for these reasons, I think that we should, postpone any discussion of how we're going to proceed until we have that administration in place. That's those are my thoughts.
And you let that you would be in control.
No, I would not be in control, Tom, because the phrase that I used was just a moment. The phrase I used was collaboration between the full council and the mayor's office, not collaboration between the president of the council and the mayor's office. And that was a very deliberate choice of words. And that's why I want to make sure that the minimum of 3 new council members who will be here in January are part of that discussion.
And you're saying 3 who are still here for 5 months should have no say in what goes forward. I don't think
That's not what I'm saying.
well, that's what you're implying. Knowledge. So to get back to the question, would you like to hear a presentation from Peter Spear on citizen assembly?
Are you trying to do this during like a regular meeting or a special
It's
meeting?
like-
or-
During the formal next one.
So I think so.
Will members of the public be allowed to eventually?
Hold on, hold on.
Before you vote?
This is a informational presentation of how things may look, and I see no issue with that, having that. Then potentially the 3 new council members can walk
And watch it.
they can-
Anybody not want to see it?
I understand Margaret's point, but I think just a presentation,
Yeah.
I think we should just
Sure. I,
see what he said, what he thought, then we.
that's fair.
Because if nothing else, to eliminate
Yeah,
potential method going forward. So it gets us somewhere, not
yeah,
if we actually.
this is a big step, so I think.
It's not eliminate,
Right.
it could eliminate a potential.
No, it can eliminate one way of going forward.
You make that determination.
Right. Yeah, I understand.
Well, why would it eliminate anything?
No, I mean, if we decide we don't like it.
Why would we make decisions before our next,
Oh, yeah, no, right. I mean,
we're not, I don't want to make decisions before we have our new council people.
Okay.
A question.
So,
That's-
You said that the presentation will be during the board meeting or?
During the informal.
Okay.
I don't think it'd be super long.
so just the only thing is it may have to be repeated once the new council in January.
Yes.
And
That's assuming that.
but also,
Well,
also the new mayor, if we have a new mayor.
yeah, I'm just saying,
Two of them are right there, so it's not like it's.
Paying attention.
Okay.
So the thing is, Peter just talked about this at Park Theater, it was recorded. And he's gonna have another presentation at Park Theater that again likely will be recorded in September. He did another one a month ago, and he talks about this all the time. So if you're genuinely interested in Peter's ideas,
And Jeff, thank you.
Excuse me,
And I hear-
Mr. Chairman, Mr.
Hold
Chairman,
on.
you're allowing a member of the public to speak from the floor and you would not let me
Yes.
speak a few minutes ago?
I would like to speak, just hold on.
What procedure are you following here?
I should have said eliminate, but yeah, we just listened. And I assume 3 new ones will listen to, or. No, that-
Well, maybe we'll have to have it repeated if we think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Ron, go ahead, what did you say?
Thank you. If you're going to allow members of the public to speak from the floor, perhaps you should have allowed me to speak earlier. So, first of all, I agree with Ms. Morris. I think the current council and the current administration should only minimally discuss methods of reforming the charter, since this council and this administration will not be the ones who are going to be carrying out the reform. First of all, I do not think at this point that you should let Mr. Spear make a presentation.
We can't hear you, Ron.
May I?
Ron, you're on the phone.
You're breaking up.
Okay, well, I'll do my best, and if you can't hear me, then you can't hear me. But I'm right in front of my computer, and I'll try to make the rest of my points. If you were to allow Mr. Spear to make a presentation on this matter, since he is a mayoral candidate, you should also invite any other mayoral
No, he's
candidate.
not,
it's
Ron.
not anymore.
Ron, he's not. He's good.
Sorry, just a moment. He is on the ballot, so will remain on the ballot, and he has said that he is not from, but he is on the ballot. Just to be clear, it's too late.
Go ahead, Ron.
Yeah, I was going to say that if someone is a mayoral candidate and is allowed to make a presentation on this matter before the election, you should invite any other mayoral candidate who wants to make such a presentation or express his views on charter reform to appear before you. I'm looking forward to the candidates, all 4 of them, or however many there may be, having a debate in the proper forum before the election. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
I think that's a valid point. That's a valid point. That is a valid point,
It is.
which again, I think reiterates
Hmm,
that given that he is still on the ballot,
Right.
that it would be preferable to have this presentation after the mayor race summit. Because otherwise, I think we are in a situation.
I
Where
agree.
we have something presented.
That's a good point. I was assuming, right,
No, it's
I was assuming his withdrawal would make a difference. You're right, still on the ballot. Dominic?
Yeah, I agree, because remember it happened to you, right? The same thing happened, right? You know,
Oh, yeah.
Victor poll, right? So it did, so I agree that I don't think we should hear from him.
Right.
So after it,
It's on the ballot, that's.
And he could easily say next week, he's
Right,
right.
right, yeah.
I remember somebody who did that, remember?
stranger things have happened.
Strange things have happened.
Okay, so it's all. I just want to propose that, it's
Fine.
attentive to you all. But yeah, it can wait. I don't think you should do nothing. The only reason I have, because I'd like to get that law established, how to go forward. And I don't really think it really matters that much, who's in office to get that law decided, the initiating law.
So why not send that to legal and legal will take a look at it and we will work on the law.
So you're not.
Okay, done.
So, yeah, so you can work with Crystal on the initial stage. Okay, so moving along, we have,
I just have one question.
Oh.
I'm sorry, just on that last thing, just hypothetical.
Hmm.
So now you have three ways of moving forward. You have the petition, the citizen initiative, you have the council, and you have the mayor, correct? That's my understanding.
Not necessarily, no.
Well, no,
No, not necessarily. You
not
have,
all at the same
no,
time.
no.
But
You have,
listen,
just a moment. You have a commission, which could be a commission formed in collaboration with the council and the mayor's office. It's a commission. So
Okay.
it gets established, it gets established. And then the council, whatever that comes up with, can vote to put that on the ballot as a referendum. That's the process.
It's one process.
It doesn't mean that the council solely controls who is on the commission. That's an important distinction.
Okay, now, my point that I was trying to make was there's a separate mayoral process that could have been involved.
The mayor's office would choose to have a commission.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay, now my concern, my question is, could the mayoral effort, if it were to come about, supersede?
There was a
what's the
time,
plan?
There was a time when it
there was a
did.
time when that held true, but
Yes.
right now, it seems like it no longer would. It's sitting on the governor's desk to sign a law.
Like,
It no longer allows a mayoral commission to supersede other commissions.
And this is.
thank you, it's looking up, as you told me, it's up in the air with the governor's office.
Well,
That's
it's
not-
going to be bipartisan and everybody's.
This is precisely why I am favoring a situation where the full council
With the commission.
collaborates with the mayor so that we are on the same page, going in the same direction and evaluating what is best for the future.
Yeah,
So,
so,
thank you.
That's the,
Okay, thank you.
I know some think we should do nothing for like 5 months, but, okay, moving right along. We have an executive session. Crystal, what's the topic of our executive session again?
To discuss an offer to purchase city property, so essentially contract negotiations.
Right, so there you have it. Can I get a motion in a second to discuss property? Jennifer, anything want? All those in favor? Aye, you opposed?
Yeah. Well, you're done.